are back with our second episode of the Talkword podcast. My name is Gregg, your host, and I'm joined with my two co-hosts again, Michael and Lucas.
What's up?
Hello, Lucas is this one.
Michael's
in case
the
they
other
were
one.
confused.
Oh yeah, they'll get your voices eventually.
For sure.
That's something I notice in a lot of podcasts. I like some of the comments, people multiple episodes, like 8 episodes in, still haven't figured out who's who, or we're confused between some two of the characters or people.
Especially when someone's like picture doesn't like line up with their face. So sometimes the picture it'll have a picture in like the podcast's thumbnail of the two people hosting the podcast or whatever. But then you'll automatically be like, oh, that one's the squirrely guy, that one's the low voice one. But then it's reversed for the podcast because sometimes your voices just don't line up. I've noticed that happening a lot.
Both of you guys have the low voice. I'm the one with the high pitched voice, so everyone knows the guy way up here. That's Michael.
You have a very distinct voice.
I know.
You have a very distinct voice.
It's a curse.
Yeah, that is kind of funny. I don't know.
All right.
But we are here today to talk about Avengers.
Yes.
Well, I can't say it's the only
the
thing
1980s British television show, The Avengers. Anyone got any predictions for what's happening in the final season?
For the Guy Ritchie remake?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I can start off right now and say that I'm pissed off going into this film because everybody was like wondering what the name was supposed to be, and apparently it was something that had been said by a character in a previous movie, and everyone's like going through like, ooh, what could it be? I thought just the name AvENGers, but spelled AvENDgers.
AvENDgers
says it all.
So you think the biggest movie maybe ever was going to be pun related?
You wanted to have just the
why not?
That is AvENGers.
Dude, if you're gonna make superheroes super cool, why not make puns cool? Like, why can't puns be the next fucking thing that's super cool to do?
I don't know, just because it can't be, because it isn't. I don't know. Like,
but something has to separate puns from like just typical dad jokes, because puns are on another level of dad.
No.
The thing that separates them is if you're a guy with a kid.
The dad jokes. People get these dad jokes way wrong. Everyone's like, "Wow, such a dad joke." The dad joke is. It's a specific category of jokes. Sorry, this is a whole diatribe that I have, but like it's not just bad jokes. It's not just puns.
No, it has everything to do with delivery, context.
Yeah, it's that you
absolutely.
say it all the time. It's like when someone's like, "What's that movie about?" and you go, "About 2 hours," and you're like, "Ha, that's a dad joke."
Nailed it. No, that's I think a big part of it is giving an answer, but giving the wrong answer is a massive part of dad jokes.
But like not.
I would say having a child though is the least of which to do with a dad joke.
Absolutely.
See, I don't know. I disagree. I feel like the idea of a dad joke came about because it was dads trying to embarrass their kids. Out in public,
it's not about embarrassment
with a waiter,
I think it's
and
just
it's
dads
evolved.
thinking they're funny.
Yeah,
it comes
exactly.
Down to
I think it's dads thinking they're funny. I think it's dads who have like I wish I had done stand-up as a child, and they finally have a captive audience in their child.
Yeah. One sober child that is trying to get some piece of information or help with something.
Yeah.
Like
maybe
homework.
I'm just more hopeful in life that I can't imagine there's that huge a group of people that think those jokes are legitimately funny. Maybe I'm just
they are though,
naive.
But the thing is, you can't ever admit they're funny because you're trying to get actual information out of this person.
And you need them to
who's
stop
just giving
doing
you a fucking
That's the
dad
problem.
joke.
Is that you
you're
need
like,
them to stop
dude.
because you're actually asking a question or you're asking for something. You're saying, "I'm hungry," and then he goes, "Nice to meet you, hungry. I'm dad." Like that's a dad joke.
While you're starving to death.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
So it's not about embarrassing your kid. It's about almost like being annoying too, because it's never like a joke for the sake of comedy. It's a joke for the sake of being a dick.
Yeah.
Not giving you what you want. Like
it's a dad realizing that he holds the power and he has what that person wants, and the only way they're gonna get it is through sticking through his comedy routine.
Exactly.
So we're back to it
To
is about
unlock
being a
his
dad.
comedy routine that you've probably heard it many times, like over and over. That's a big qualifier of a dad joke.
And like now, was that teacher joke of like I guess it's not a joke. The whole I don't know, can you like go to the bathroom?
Yes, absolutely. That's a dad joke for sure. Absolutely.
That's a total dad joke. But I know lots of single teachers that weren't.
Yeah, but that's still like
an
educational dad joke, That's a grammatical.
But I think I think the point of a dad joke, and the thing that frustrates me the most is when people are like, "Oh, such a dad joke," but it's actually just like a talking animals joke or like a knock knock joke, or like it's just a bad joke. That doesn't make it a dad joke. Like dad jokes aren't framed like they're jokes. They're framed like you're trying to get some real information or you're asking a legitimate question, and they have like a retort to it, right?
Yeah, because it isn't a joke when you ask the question.
Right.
It's as serious as it gets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
So-
it's like Greg, do you comb your butt?
No.
Then how'd you get a part in the middle? That's not a dad joke.
It's anatomy related.
Yeah.
It could be a doctor joke.
You guys can't
I
see
don't
this,
know.
but he does have that joke written down on his notepad of things to bring up in this podcast.
And he jumped to it too. It was at the end of the list.
Yeah, right? He's like, oh my gosh, I gotta write this off
Yeah.
real quick.
So I guess to get us back to it, speaking of dads, Hawkeye.
Yes. He is a father or was a father.
Or
I think
was.
that's the general
Right?
consensus,
Yeah.
right? Is that his kids got snapped?
Yeah.
think
Well,
so.
there's something. So I just went back before we got on the Discord and everything and watched a few of the trailers. And something I realized just watching it closer is that this movie is the last of their phase one, whatever
Right.
you want to call it. But it's the springboard for so many movies and television series that are about to come, right?
Yes.
That have already been greenlit.
Yes.
So there's going to be massive character development on almost, I think, every level in
Well-
terms of explaining what's next.
Specifically with Hawkeye, because they just announced that he's getting his own TV show on Disney
Yeah.
Plus.
And not to
What
mention
is
Jeremy
Disney
Renner's Hawkeye.
Plus? What is Disney
It's this-
Plus?
God.
It's their streaming
yeah,
service that
Interesting.
they're.
So
the reason they're
because
pulling
of
stuff
that
off of
being greenlit,
Netflix.
do you think that there's like, because Hawkeye's basically not, he's kind of not been in the last few movies, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say, though. So they not only have to explain, like, bridge the gap from Hawkeye into this series, which I hear is supposed to be about him passing the Hawkeye torch on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the person that becomes Hawkeye, which I think is also happening with other characters in this movie.
Oh, you think so?
There's two in particular
they're giving
that
the
I wanna
mantles
talk
to
about
other
later.
people. I think Iron Man is going to do
Yeah.
this little Iron Man thing. They
or
kind of set up.
Romantals.
They kind of set up the new Iron Man girl in the Captain Marvel movie, if you were paying attention, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Because the person who takes over the Iron Man mantle in the comic books in all new Avengers, she's like a 24-year-old like black female college student who's studying like bioengineering or something.
I saw the comic, I think. Yeah.
And they set her up as the friend of Cara Danvers, Cara Danvers' best friend's daughter.
Oh,
They,
that's
like,
who that
set her
was.
up, and she's like, one day I'll go to space. I was like, that character doesn't have a point in this movie. They're clearly setting her up for a different movie. So I think that
For sure.
that's my big prediction for a setup for that character.
Yeah, I like that though. I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah.
What I had heard about was because we know that some Avengers might die. There are some characters that got killed that people are expecting to come back that I don't think will be.
So I think specifically the people who didn't die in the snap definitely won't come back. But there are other
Like Gamora.
like Gamora, like a couple of other people died before that, but specifically
depends,
Gamora.
Idris
it-
Elba's character.
Vision.
depends,
I don't
though,
think
because-
Vision's coming back, right? Like
I don't know, because you have to think, like, it might not just be about reversing the Ash. If there's a time travel component, as people seem to think is a big part of this,
Right.
then they're anticipating the ability to go back even further to stop Thanos in totality.
Oh, you think so?
Which means he would never get to the point where he has even the gauntlet. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Stop him from.
and I do
you
see
want,
evidence
what you're
of that
thinking
in
is
the trailers.
stop him from acquiring the mindset of let's erase these people. Like stop Titan from being destroyed, right?
Oh, well,
that's
not,
his planet,
maybe
right?
not that far, but yeah. Imagine like if you could, I don't know.
Go back
So
in
it's the
time
whole
and kill
go back
Hitler
in time
as
and
a
kill
baby.
Hitler. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not to that degree. But like you watched the trailer. The first trailer they dropped, the way they edited it was this. You know, you're seeing pieces of all the main sixes past, right? Like their first movies in black and white or whatever.
And,
Yes,
and
but you're not seeing it in black and white. You're seeing it in black and white and red, which is the color of the Reality Stone. So I feel like they're
Right.
hinting more at the Reality Stone than the Time
think
Stone.
it's just that red's a beautiful contrast.
I
to
think
white
so
and black,
too. I
and they
think
all had it
that
on
is
their
more
body.
likely it. It's a Schindler's List reference.
Well, no, and it's not that red is the color of the Avengers either, because, I mean, the symbol is, right?
Right.
Like the original symbol, but I don't identify that with Avengers. But I'm mostly thinking that I hear this theory going around that they're, by some means, have to go back and revisit key moments in each of their own individual franchises at defining moments where, the whole Thor Loki thing, like they've all had, even if it was in peripherals, interactions with a lot of Thanos' undermen that were doing all the groundwork in the first attack on New York, which I guarantee you we will see that exact timeline moment.
Oh, you think so?
I really do
If you think
so.
that there's a time travel component to this.
Yes, if there was, I can almost guarantee it'll be hinged around that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
how
I kind of like that. If they could do it right, like the idea that like
I don't know. I don't know if I like
before we
time
knew
travel
how
in
big
general.
the game was, before we knew how much of a danger this was, there were things each of us could have done differently to help each other.
Absolutely.
Before we even knew about this threat.
Yeah,
But see,
but-
my
You know what I
problem
mean?
is if they acquire the ability to time travel, then what is the limitation on the time travel that's making the story still interesting and have stakes? Because I don't know. I don't.
Maybe the fact that they can't control it.
Yeah.
Think that all they have is what's his face,
So-
Ant-Man showing up, who does not really understand the quantum realm stuff that well.
Yeah.
Not to say Hulk and Tony wouldn't know what to do with that, but like the people that ran that shit ashed.
Yeah.
So maybe they have the power and technology, but like they don't know how to use it, or they
Michael
only know how to
Michael
use it in one
Douglas
direction.
did Ash?
All of them.
Yeah.
Wasp and Douglas and the other woman.
Do they do
And
that at the
all
end of
Ash.
Ant-Man and Wasp?
While he's in the quantum realm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't,
it's the
I
after
didn't
credit
realize that.
scene.
So all you're gonna have is Little Lang coming out and not really knowing anything of what happened, but also I don't think he has a grasp on that technology.
Yeah.
He just
No.
has the van.
Well, yeah,
So-
he's just a guy.
Tony
but-
and the Black Panther chick, like there's a lot of very smart people that could obviously do something with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know about time travel because I feel like the only way they could do time travel would be with the time stone.
Right. That's
And
what I
in
think
what,
too. But there has
in
to be a
what
limit
reality
on it. There
do they
has to
get
be...
that stone without having already defeated Thanos? You know what I
Well,
mean?
okay,
Like,
so that's another point I want to bring up is that everybody's like, oh, well, why would they just go at Thanos like he's still so dangerous? The gauntlet's done.
Well, the gauntlet's
It's
broken,
been destroyed.
right?
no,
And
because
the only person who can fix it had his fucking hands welded into a fist.
Michael's
it's not
right,
completely
doing a little
broken.
finger wag. He's
I
like,
am.
It
oh,
is.
no,
He
no,
barely
no.
had enough power to get out of there. It's broken, dude. It's busted.
but we
It's
saw
done.
but we saw it break in his hand, and then we saw him still make a portal open.
That's
So
what I'm
it's
saying.
not-
He barely used any power left in that. Like that thing does not have the power to do
But-
another snap.
But well, it may not have the power to do another snap, but it still has some juice. We don't know.
Absolutely. But
But
he
we
is
don't-
by no means the threat that he was. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But we don't know that if he can still wield the 5 stones, the gauntlet would help. But
I think
we
I
don't
think the
know
only thing that the
That's an
gauntlet
assumption
even
that-
does is lets you wield all 5 stones at the same time, right?
Yeah.
If they're using the time stone, like you can use the time stone without a gauntlet. You can use the devastation
Oh, yeah,
stone
like, use
without a
them
gauntlet.
individual.
Like
Sure,
Yeah.
sure,
like
sure.
the only thing that the gauntlet even does is lets you use all of them at once, and that's enough power to do whatever you wanted to do. But then the gauntlet broke or whatever.
But he had to specifically go to big little Tyrion to get that done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so if that resource doesn't exist anymore, I feel like the gauntlet's power's faded as well, and it has to be fading. You know
sure,
what I mean?
but like
that.
they could still time travel.
Oh, absolutely. And there's a lot of powers at
well,
play
yeah,
there.
but he still has the stone. So if they get the
yeah.
time stone from him, then like they could fix some stuff. Oh,
Oh, Lucas, your
Lucas, we
voice
lost your
just-
audio.
Opening the can of worms of
Oh, there it
time
is.
travel.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, sorry, your audio cut out for a
Oh,
second.
sorry. I
cut
was going
out.
to say, my big problem with opening the can of worms of time travel is then the story just becomes get the time stone, and then there's no more stakes.
But that's
or
if you think
conflict,
that
really.
time travel has anything to do with the time stone, and I don't.
Oh, you
That's what I'm
don't
trying
think
to
so?
say.
So how
no,
do you
that's
think
what I'm
that-
trying to say. Like, if it's involved with the quantum realm, it's not necessarily. I don't want to call it time travel in the sense of like. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I understand how the quantum realm works, but all I'm saying is that you are right. As a scriptwriter, there would have to be limitations. It would have to be
Right.
like we only get one shot at this type thing, which I'm
Yeah.
sure it would be. But they're obviously going to space, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert in the trailer, Tony's reunited with everyone after being stranded in space at the start of that trailer.
I know.
Yeah.
So Tony makes it back. Like, it's little things like that. Like, I don't think they're stupid enough to have that massive of an oversight unless we're so fixated on shit that it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
What do you think?
Well, and we don't necessarily know for sure that Tony's stranded at the beginning of the movie. You know what
absolutely.
I mean?
No, that's actually a really good point to make.
Like, that could be much later on.
A lot of the stuff I hear people talking about in the trailer is evidence to
though
buy
it does make sense that he would be stranded early, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think it is at the beginning, and I think he does think, but I don't think it was meant to be a huge reveal that he rejoins the team. You know what I mean? I think it's a powerful moment that's good for a trailer, so they show it, and I do think it's in the beginning, but it may not necessarily be in the beginning.
Because, everybody that was out there on Titan after this is just kind of stranded in space.
Basically, that's only Tony
Seemingly,
Stark
right?
and what's her name? Gamora's sister.
Nebula and Rocket.
Oh, Rocket's out there, too.
And Rocket.
Oh, no. Rocket's on Earth. Rocket's on Earth. Rocket's on Earth.
No, he's not.
My
Rocket
bad.
was in the
Thanos,
Fight.
right?
Yeah. Rocket's...
Thor.
No, Rocket,
Thor.
Thor, and Groot were
Yeah, that's my bad.
Because they all showed up. So who is it? Just Rocket?
Yeah,
and,
it's just Tony and Nebula.
Tony and Nebula? Peter
they
Ash,
all
Strange
did.
Ash,
Spider-Man, all the Guardians except for Rocket.
Peter Quill Ashed. Wow.
I know, I thought that
That's
too, because
interesting
it's
to
like,
think
wow,
about.
like all the Guardians of the Galaxy are gone except for Rocket.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, just like
I know.
Tony and Nebula.
I think it's funny that Nebula is like
Iron Man and
included
an
in all
actual
the
robot.
shots.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Nebula is like a weird person to have gotten to be in this movie a lot. Like,
Not really, though. Not when the whole
absolutely
Thanos
not with
Gamora
not with her
storyline's
character's
there. Not
backstory,
that Nebula had
but I
anything
think with her
much to
weight
do
in
with
the
that.
other movies, definitely,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's gonna get an end
Yeah.
or a new beginning out of this movie. I truly do believe that, like, there's a lot to set up, and who knows? Like, I think a few
For
characters
sure.
will die. But
what do you guys think the
it's gonna
end
be hard.
game
It's
is?
gonna
Like
be fucking
Catan or
heavy
Monopoly? Life?
I think it's Risk. I think it has to be
Risk.
Risk.
Oh, that
That's
makes
why the
sense.
movie's
Yeah.
3 hours long.
Yeah, it's Risk.
well, they were gonna call it Avengers Risk, but that just was a stupid, obvious title.
Avengers to Australia. Turtle.
But going back to what started this whole conversation real quick with the torch
Yeah.
passing, I had heard a theory of Captain
Yeah.
America dying, and basically Captain Marvel inheriting
his role, like his role as like
in a
leader
sense
of the Avengers.
like
Yeah.
leadership wise, maybe not even that per se, but just like as
Yeah,
the wholesome
absolutely.
model for
I think that
because Captain America more so than most of those people is sort of an
Captain America is always the
He's
voice
godlike
of the,
as much as a
of
normal person can
morality,
be.
and he usually states the theme of the movie in the movies that he's in. So like he's the character that you're supposed.
Yeah.
Like
Just
in
like a righteous
Infinity War, he
hero
literally
of
is the
some kind,
person
maybe.
who states the theme of the movie is that we don't trade lives, right? Like that's like every character struggles
Mm-hmm.
with the entire movie, and he's the one who says it, and that's like Captain America's job. But I agree. I think that they're setting Kara Danvers up to be the Captain America, the morality
yeah.
center, the protagonist, as they say.
yeah.
yeah, and becoming Marvel, like becoming
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
captain, becoming the new captain ultimately.
I can see that.
Who else is like? Have any of the other actors been reported to be hanging it up, like bowing out? Like I imagine
I would
Downey
think
Jr.
so.
Downey's done.
Pretty much
right?
said he is, right?
Maybe past like cameo
Maybe,
stuff
if he
in the
survives.
universe. Yeah, again, yeah. But that's what I mean. Like, this will either be an ending that way or an ending where they
Yeah.
just
Right.
kind of retire to the background. Those two I could definitely see. But now, the spin-offs we have are Loki, Hawkeye. We have one with Scarlet Witch and Vision. And we have one with the Winter Soldier and is that Hawkeye? Not Hawkeye. Who's the winged?
Falcon.
Yeah,
the one that's Captain Falcon. Yes, I think Winter Soldier Falcon.
I wish they would do the Visions story, like TV show. Do you know about that in the comics? So basically, like, no, it's
Does he actually have a TV
comics?
show?
It's a comic book.
Oh.
But like Vision's like bored, so he makes a family of Visions to live, and they like all have like personalities, and they like just like live in a suburban neighborhood. It's a very weird comic.
What the hell? Yeah, there's a bunch of weird
That's like
storylines.
the Disney Plus live studio audience sitcom.
Yeah, it like actually is that. Like, I don't know, it's pretty good. They're all Vision,
look,
and like they all. It's so
Vision.
strange. I think that's
I'd
what
watch
it's
that.
called.
I don't
It's
care.
like the Visions.
Vision. Yeah.
It's kind of like
be
Marvel's
interesting to see how
Shazam family.
Yeah,
We just saw that
exactly.
movie.
From this.
Oh my gosh. But
Oh god. What are your predictions for like Thanos' role?
For Thanos' role. So before that third
Do you
trailer,
think he's
I
gonna
thought he
be in a
wasn't gonna
lot
be
of
in
the movie?
at all. Kind
I
of,
almost
you know?
thought that too, yeah. Because they didn't show him.
Right. You think so?
Well, he has to be in
At
it.
first, I thought he didn't have to be in it.
If the goal is to go find him and
At
reverse
first, I thought
this,
there's no reason for him to really be in it.
yeah. Well, I mean, they could reverse it without.
Yeah,
him.
that's what I think is that Thanos is like done, but like then he's in the newest trailer, so I guess that he's in it. But like at first I was like, but his story finished.
Yeah.
Well, his goal was finished.
Right,
He won,
His
he won his battle, and now
You know
he's
what I
resting.
mean?
He
Like-
lets the universe do what it will.
Yeah.
But okay, one of the other podcasts I listened to brought this up because they were saying that like, as Thanos, he has to know that people are coming for him. He has to know people are angry at him, right? So he is not just going to go be a farmer and just completely let his guard down. Like there needs to be precautions he's taking to some degree, or maybe at this point, since he lost what he lost, maybe he doesn't care if he dies now. Who knows? But I think a face-to-face confrontation is what too many of our main characters want, that there's no way that they just write him off. But I'm curious do you think it's going to be kind of like what we predicted for Game of Thrones, where like the Thanos story is like half the movie and then there's another situation.
You mean like a
another
Titanic
villain
sort
per
of thing
se,
where
but
there's
maybe
kind
there
of two
isn't
movies in the length of the movie. So like the first half of the movie is one plot, and then they almost that plot almost climaxes and then builds into a second plot that starts halfway through the movie. You think?
Yeah.
Not necessarily like that. More like take Infinity War and Endgame and let's mash them together into one movie, right? So we're in the middle or just past the middle of the movie where the bad guys won. In the
if you were
Dark
going to
Night
give
of
it
the
like
Soul.
the hero's journey,
our
it would
heroes
be,
are defeated.
It's like the dungeon or like the low point, right? It's the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, where the characters are defeated, they're broken, and all that. So naturally, there has to be a rebuilding. You bring in all the old characters and gather everything you've learned across this whole franchise and use it to defeat your enemy. So like Thanos has to.
But I don't know if he does because.
But I don't think it's going to be all the heroes against Thanos in a gauntlet.
Because
The stakes will have been changed.
I think that it's enough. I think that the heroes gathering what they've learned and confronting, doesn't have to be fighting the literal fight that they fought. I think that it can be gathering what they know and realizing the flaw in their own methodology originally, right? So where before all of the characters were like willing to trade things in the same way Thanos was, they can now say now we're unwilling to, and we can figure out how to move forward from there.
I like that idea almost just for the fact that like what if they had to come up with a solution to this issue, right? To reverse the snap, whatever that means. But that reverse requires sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. It's personal sacrifice.
You know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
To some large degree. Like legit, we can go back and erase all these things that have happened, but it'll
So it's like they're almost following in Thanos' footsteps.
Can you
they're
remind
just like a
me?
step
Can
behind.
you remind me a little bit? What happened to This may seem a little off, but like, what happened to what's his name? Nick Fury. Did he die?
He got ashed.
Yeah.
He got ash, so he was dead before that.
And,
but he's not been in any of the movies recently.
He was in Captain Marvel, but that's prequel.
He was in Marvel
That's in the
because it was
past.
a prequel.
Yeah.
So he got ashed in the
Yeah.
after credits scene.
Because
As
That's
he was
right.
calling
That's right.
Captain Marvel.
Thank
so
you.
he pressed the beeper.
Because I couldn't remember. I don't
Yeah.
think that I stayed through the post-credit scene when I first saw it. That's why I'm having a hard time remembering.
Yeah. And that's a huge point because, like, then we see Captain Marvel show up at the end of her movie, right? And a big part of that, everybody was like, well, like, what are her stakes or something in this? Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
you guys both saw Marvel, right? Captain Marvel. So, like, she had the run-in with, what's his face? Right at the end.
Guardians of the
guy that
Galaxy,
was the
yeah.
villain in Guardians.
Yes.
I forget his name. I
That's
wanted
right.
to say Ronan,
Yes.
but that's not right.
It's Ronan.
Is it Ronan? Okay. So like that was
A loose tie-in.
a loose
tie-in.
I don't know how
Almost
well
kind
they
of a
would know each
spoiler
other.
that his presence is in the Captain Marvel movie because it. I don't know. For those of you who've seen it, spoilers, but like it's supposed to be like she's fighting for the wrong side the whole time and doesn't realize it. It's basically the plot of She-Ra. But the fact that Ronan makes an appearance in the film, you would know immediately. Oh well, those are the
They're
bad
the
guys
bad
because
guys,
Ronan's
yeah.
the bad guy. Like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, but like only if you watch them in the legitimate order that
Right.
they would
But, like-
come in. Because thinking now, assuming you've seen the other 20
Yeah.
movies, it's presented correctly. But I agree a little bit on that. Like, but it is also cool because he's technically like more of an underling
Right.
at that state of his career.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like he wasn't who he
Right.
was when he shows up in Guardians. So yeah, that is interesting, and like I hope to see more of that. I'm seeing all universes doing that. I think Game of Thrones will hop on next, but Walking
doing what?
Dead is doing that right now. Walking Dead is expanding their universe to tie all their series together in a way that normally that would sound kind of like stupid
Yes.
because we've seen it done poorly at times, I think. But what they're doing with it is like using it as a way to bring in actors who had to leave
Yeah.
because of like contractual shit. So people that couldn't keep up with the TV filming schedule 9 months in Georgia, people like Andrew Lincoln, who just went home, can now come to the States and film 3 movies that tie together all the flagship series. And so characters that left or you thought were dead or disappeared and haven't shown up on this show get found by characters over on this show and
that's
do a
fun.
little season arc on that. And you know what I mean? And so they're using it as a way to like... It's fan service at the end of the day, but it is brilliant when they do it right. And I'm like, wow, what a cool way to be able to what's her face? God, I don't know any of these Marvel character names. The bald girl warrior from the Black Panther.
I don't remember her name either.
It's like Okoye or
Sequoia.
something. She's like his
Yeah.
like one of his lieutenants.
But the
right?
girl
Black
from Walking
Panther.
Dead.
She plays Michonne on The Walking Dead. She's leaving this season, and part of that is again an ability for her to leave, go do her stuff, and then get to go do the movies with Rick and some of those other characters to like finish her character's arc, but in a way that like suits her in real life, I guess. And I think that's fucking awesome. I've never seen shows do that. TV shows never make the bridge into
Okoye?
movie media.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Okoye, I think that's it. So yeah, like I'm starting to see massive world building like that, and so I think there's an ability in these spin-off series because some of them will be prequels, and we'll see other moments. The Black Widow series, for example, everybody is thinking right now that must be a prequel. Like it would be almost more suitable as a prequel rather than Black Widow's life after the Avengers. Like that to me isn't as cool. And if it's a prequel, you get to bring back all this awesome roster of fucking actors. To kind of cameo.
Something that I wanted to bring up a little bit. We talked a little bit about time travel as a potential way of quote bringing the characters back, right? But I think that we haven't talked about another popular theory about what the movie is going to be about, which is the sort of like Marvel universe, plural, right? Like Spider-Man Enter the Multiverse, that sort of idea where a lot of people are like, well, maybe there wasn't a snap, maybe the universe just split, right? It divided the universe into two worlds. And so all of the characters that we know are still alive in their separate worlds, but only half of the characters are even exist. What do you guys think about that as a potential, like the quantum realm? That's that sort crazy. Of like lends itself to a multi-universe theory as opposed to time travel.
Yeah,
you're talking almost like a Lost-ish.
Yeah, exactly.
Flash sideways,
existing timeline.
Where,
I mean,
I don't think that would serve the movie very well.
It would.
To be honest, I think it's something that could happen in the universe, but
I think there's more evidence for that.
You don't think they'll use multiple universes as a sort of like feature in the Marvel movies? It's such a big feature in the comics.
I do, but I don't. I don't think as a concurrent split timeline. I think the timelines you're thinking about is kind of like what I think I worded it poorly what I was explaining, but like the idea that Doctor Strange imagined all these timelines. And the idea that, like, whatever he did, sacrificing himself and giving the stone to Thanos, set off a course that is going to go make the survivors have to go through a number of those timelines. Because there's a big theory that, like, they're going to lose their first few attempts at whatever they're about to do and keep having to go back, like, looping to the same start.
Well, isn't that exactly the end of the Doctor Strange movie already?
It's like... no, but I think Gregg's saying like go back.
It's like Edge of Tomorrow.
Like go back in time to when Tony Stark was in the cave and change minor events that then will allow them to do better later again, right? That's what you're saying?
I mean, I think it could get to that point, but I think like it might start by them isolating a moment that is a defining moment and going and trying to do it right and failing a few times. Like I think the first time they think they have it, fucking Tony dies, a bunch of people dies, and they're like, oh shit, back to the start, let's try this a different way.
I think I don't know if you guys have seen or read the book The Magicians. There's a character in it who does a similar thing where she's trying to kill this sort of like very powerful character, and it turns out in the end of the book that a lot of what's happened to the main character Quentin has been sort of like facilitated or guided by this like time traveler who realized that like he's the only person who can even potentially kill this thing, and she's had to go back like thousands of times, changing just like minor details until there was a success, and all of the bad things that have happened in his life are as a result of this like going back in time and her changing things about his life. So like you mean sort of something like that? Where they're like going back in time and manipulating events that happened in the Marvel universe to sort of like fit their own ends to save all these people, but like hurting all these people in the process.
I don't know. I think my big problem with that is more from a story perspective, and this whole movie and these last two, this Avengers movie, the last one, it's all about like this is the culmination of all the stuff that happened in these movies. And I think if the plot of this one is let's go back and change everything that happened in a lot of these movies, I feel like that'd be kind of cheap, and I feel like that almost feel like a betrayal.
I'm not
don't
as big
like
of a fan
that
of the time travel idea.
But I think that if done right, like what a beautiful way to pay homage to 20 fucking films and over a decade's worth,
which is
so
to
many
erase
different
it.
franchises.
I don't know. I feel like
you know what I mean. It's to revisit like a key moment of a various of the original six's moments that could have like, because it's always been about Thanos, and that's something that is about Phase 1 is like Phase 2's next, right? And Marvel said they're going to take like a couple years break to like strategize,
right?
Oh shit!
But it almost feels like, but I get what you're saying. It almost feels like it's like the Deadpool scene where in the end of Deadpool he like goes and corrects all of the different like things that have happened in the past that are bad, and you're like, oh well, that's bad then. Like it's funny in Deadpool, but it does sort of like undercut all the movies that he's like playing with, right?
Yeah, I just think it would be a big mistake if the culmination of all these movies, starting with Iron Man 1, is, hey, let's go back and erase and change the events that we all have watched together. I
See, I disagree. I think if they
Well,
did
if you
it
could do
completely right,
anything
and I mean
completely
like
right.
they find out the one thing that they have to do, and they find out the way that through their individual stories they're able to go back and do something to help that end. I think that would be fucking incredible if they pulled it off.
Yeah.
But again, like I don't have any ideas.
I
what
feel
that
like
would
you
be
could do
right now,
anything
but
if you did it perfectly.
I could see
it
them
would be a
pulling it
perfect
off.
movie. I think. I don't know, but even then, I think that idea specifically, like even if they pull it off and it was a great movie, that's great. But I'm not gonna want to go back and rewatch all of these movies now because I'm like, oh, that doesn't mean anything anymore.
Well, not knowing everything,
but
obviously, but like. I think it's an awesome way. Like anytime, look at Rick and Morty. Anytime they do a perfect throwback callback moment to their own series, if it's done right, it is an effective instrument.
Yeah, but Rick and Morty that's a bad
It just
example.
really
Rick and
is.
Morty very specifically is like.
Well, that's
very
just the first one that
specifically,
came
like,
to
we're
my
not
head.
doing
Like
time
when you
travel.
throw back to a nugget.
They don't do time travel.
The fact that Rick and Morty has to do with time travel is just a coincidence in that theory. I'm just evidencing another thing. But what I'm saying is that like it's an effective screenwriting tool. And I could see them. I'm not saying it's the magnum opus of this is what we do to defeat Thanos, but I'm saying if that was a nugget in the movie, I could see them trying to attempt something like that.
I just.
And again, like I feel influenced by the trailer because the trailer lends itself to that idea. And again, that could be misdirection, but it is the way that they edit it together. You know, making it seem like the past is important and that there's something in the past that will help them solve this problem.
What do you think Captain Marvel's position in this new movie will be?
That's a good question because she's a lot like Vision, who is somebody, and Scarlet Witch, to be honest, two characters that were tremendously nerfed in this world to bring them more on the level of the people they're fighting. Because there are characters in this show that could
Captain Marvel. I mean, if you saw the end of the Captain Marvel movie, she's like Superman.
Yeah,
she's
she
a
flies
god.
through a spaceship.
She's a god.
Like that's some Dragon Ball Z shit. It's awesome.
she's like Kirby,
So
like a Star Runner, just like smashing through huge spaceships. Like
that's what I'm saying. I did hear a theory that it seems way too ambitious to be true. But maybe that's why it could be true. That basically that Captain Marvel's gonna die
think so?
quick.
Really?
but she's like,
That like obviously because she's the most powerful, they send her at him.
you mean like
and
a Hulk
it goes
theory,
wrong.
where the Hulk has to fight Thanos early because otherwise everyone's just going, well, why didn't they just have Hulk fight Thanos? Yeah.
Well, and I do think they've been doing that. That's why the Hulk hasn't been coming out. Because
that's why
Hulk
Hulk fights Thanos right in the beginning of the movie, because then there isn't then there isn't the question of like they would have just won if they had the Hulk fight Thanos.
Yeah.
They do that. They like have Hulk smash and it doesn't work. Right? They get all of the obvious choices for how to beat Thanos out of the way, so that then they have to explore the other possibilities, the other ways of doing it.
Well, but to that degree, like, wouldn't you have said that like Thor was a shoe-in to beat
He almost
Thanos?
did. But that's the same thing that happened. He fought him early in the beginning. And...
He's a shoe-in to beat Thanos only if he has his hammer. So they have to go get him a new hammer.
And that made
But
me
he had
mad,
his
by the way.
Oh no, he didn't
That
have his
made me
hammer on the
mad
ship.
because-
I guess.
Well, Ragnarok was all about like, hey, I don't need my hammer. I have the power was inside me all along.
Right.
And the whole climax is him laying like, oh, I am my own hammer. Look at me be badass. And it works. And then the very next thing we see in Avengers Infinity War, he's like, I need a new thing. I'm not that cool. Like,
well, not just that. Like Lucas makes the perfect point that even Odin, who's another incredibly powerful character, you got to take him. Like they took out a lot of those people, or gave him some mechanism that was keeping their powers in check. But those are characters. So like, something has to happen with Captain Marvel because I think she is too powerful for.
Well, I think that there's got to be something that comes in.
Again, Thanos might not be a fucking threat.
Come into
Like,
play
you know
with
what I
the
mean?
fact that she is sort of like touched by the Infinity Stone in air quotes, like right, like she like absorbed part of the power, and that's like what she gets her strength from is the Infinity Stones, right? Or the blue one, anyway.
Yeah. The Tesseract,
so she seems like a natural counter or something maybe to it. Yeah, I don't know. So I think that emotionally, I could see them doing something like that. Like, something bad happens to Captain Marvel that then might get remedied in her next movie. Something I feel like they would do. There is theories that Gamora might... I don't think Gamora's going to be coming
That
back.
makes sense. She's a kind of boring character.
Honestly, though.
Yeah.
I
like
love
Zoe, but...
Zoe. She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. They had mentioned that they were going to be doing some shakeups to the cast for the third installment. The James Gunn
Yeah, he's
led
back.
by the way.
God, like
After
what
he
a
does
dumpster
Suicide Squad
fire.
2.
Oh my god.
It really was.
That was a
whole
ridiculous
thing
situation.
sucks. I don't know what to...
So easily canceled.
It's
just
pathetic.
fucking
Like,
pathetic.
if you're gonna let him go, like, at least stick to your guns. Like, your James guns.
Or fucking fire the directors that are actually
I don't know.
ruining
Right?
movies. Star Wars.
I don't know. Like, on the one side, I'm like, okay, like, should you get fired over tweets you made a decade ago? Probably not. If you're gonna fire him, just, like, keep him fired. Like, don't, like, but then also,
don't
like,
try to get the
things he
brownie
did
points
say-
while the
like,
movement's happening, and then once the movement's
Exactly,
done, be
like-
like, oh,
like-
we can bring him back, though, because he's talented.
No, I absolutely feel like it's one thing to be a Roseanne and in the moment do something
Absolutely.
fucking stupid and
Yeah.
racist. I think it's another thing for it to be sexual assault accusations
Absolutely, 'cause
and
that's
related
like a
because that's an
crime.
environment
Yeah.
thing, right? But if you said something stupid when you were young 15 years ago, your cast, your crew, everyone you work with fucking adores you and has nothing good things to say about you, and you're like a good,
I don't know.
like
Yeah.
fucking etiquette and stuff.
And like,
what the hell
I
is
agree.
the problem,
the thing
man?
that I like those
don't
tweets
get it.
are not funny. They are gross.
No.
They're disgusting,
absolutely.
vile tweets. But like, he didn't literally do anything criminal. He was just trying to be funny and being bad at it 10 years ago. Like,
Yeah. And he's
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
a
exactly,
serial
like,
fucking
I don't know.
tweeter. It's very clear to see when people are still like
Yeah.
that, you know? It's
but then it's also like, I'm mad at Disney for like firing him and then being like, all right, well, our movie's gonna be bad if we don't let him work on
Yeah.
it now. So, I guess you're hired again. Like,
not even that. None of the actors
exactly.
are going to
I
come
don't
back,
care
bro.
what moral stand they take, but take
Just,
it.
like,
you
take
know what I
it.
mean?
Exactly, like,
Actually
take it.
do it.
Absolutely. Either
that's
stick your
the
fucking
thing that
ground
annoys me the
or-
most is like, either way,
That
I don't
is.
know if I support him being let go. I don't know if I support him being kept on. But like, either way, don't waffle between the two, because that's
Yeah.
dumb. That's bad. That's
Yeah.
bad.
I mean,
It just
I'm
looks
definitely on
bad.
team. I'm glad they brought him back. I don't think they should have got rid of him to begin with. 'Cause
well, I just
do
want the
think,
movie to be
Absolutely.
good, but like,
though those
I don't
tweets
know.
were, gross and bad jokes, you can tell they were meant to be jokes.
right, and then
Regardless
like,
of whether or not they landed,
Yeah.
doesn't change the fact that they were said in jest.
I know intent is so important, I think, too, and like Sarah Silverman said like a really good thing about it. She was like, you don't understand what it's like when you're like starting out in comedy. You're gonna try literally anything to get attention, and as bad as that sounds, like, he thought that those tweets would get him attention, and he was right. Like,
Just a decade too late, but
yeah, exactly. Like
10 years later.
I don't know.
yeah.
So she's like he wasn't trying to offend people. He doesn't actually have those opinions. I made the same types of attention getting jokes that just happen to not exist anymore. Like
because no one was recording me back
yeah,
then.
exactly. Like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid.
But regardless of
Yeah,
that,
it is.
pick your stand and stick with it.
Yeah.
Once you realize it's going to affect your bottom line,
yeah.
don't be like, oh, morals don't matter.
Or once you realize DC's like, oh, we're gonna hire him to do Suicide Squad, you can't be like, oh, we were just kidding about firing him.
yeah, right.
That must have
Yeah.
had something massive to do with it too. You
Yeah.
would think. 'Cause
Well,
that is
especially
interesting.
like on the brink of
And
Shazam
again,
coming out.
I was really excited for Suicide Squad
Yep.
2 for just a second there.
Yep.
Let me tell you.
He's still doing Suicide Squad 2.
He is
Yeah.
still doing it. Yeah.
Still doing it.
Is he?
And that
Oh,
makes me
okay, I thought
excited
he was
for it.
dropping
Because
out.
He now
Suicide
has to
Squad
do
1
both,
was
and
such a letdown.
they're putting what's his name 3 on hold until he finishes Suicide Squad 2.
Yeah. Well, and Will Smith's
No,
not
Yeah.
there anymore.
It's
Fine
a
by
wild,
me, to be
wild west
honest.
up in here.
yeah.
I don't know. I have heard from most people that mildly enjoyed that movie that he was the
People
Suicide Squad?
enjoyed Suicide Squad in any way.
Yeah. There's parts of it that are enjoyable, but
I'll
it's
give
not
you
a
that
good
there's
movie.
parts
It's
of it
admittedly not
only
a good
because
movie.
I haven't seen all of it. So maybe they were the parts that I didn't see.
I mean, they use cool fonts sometimes.
It's barely worse than Batman vs Superman was, but a lot of people
I
liked
think
that
it's worse
movie,
than
so I
Batman
don't know.
vs Superman, but yeah,
just
but
wasn't
I'll
good.
I don't
give
know
you
if I
that
can
it's barely
quantify
worse.
that. They're both bad.
Man of Steel is
No,
Shazam.
Man of Steel's not
Wonder
good
Woman.
either.
Man of Steel's no, it's not.
No,
Man of Steel's good. Wonder Woman and
No, did you see
Aquaman. Wonder
Shazam?
Woman and
Did
Aquaman
you see
are
Shazam?
like
I
the
haven't
two
seen
most recent.
Shazam
actually-
yet.
No, I haven't seen it yet. No, Shazam's
Shazam
the
is
best
actually
out now.
a legitimately good movie.
I haven't seen Shazam yet.
Oh, fuck
but
yeah. No, no
Zachary
doubt.
Levi called me a monster one time, so I don't want to
What?
support him.
You heard it here first. We need to hear that story now. Shit.
I went to see his Broadway musical one time, First Date
Yeah.
the Musical.
Please sponsor us,
I went to go see, it was called First Date the Musical. It was not very good. My mother wanted to wait and get autographs from the cast, and he was in the cast, so we waited outside the stage door for him to come out. It was like me, my mom, and like a bunch of short teen girls, right? After a Broadway show. And he comes out and he's playing his like little like uptown funk music on a little boombox, doing a little dance. And he looks right at me and goes, "Whoa, you're a monster!" Because of how tall I am. Like literally, he was just like, "You're a monster." And he's like, never see people taller than me. That's crazy. And I was like, "Oh God, I'm like fucking sick of this." So yeah,
damn
so
it.
Zachary Levi called me a
Wow.
monster. So I don't know if I should support him anymore.
Wow.
That
I wanted
is,
to be.
Damn.
After that, I wanted to kind of like do like an Elephant Man thing. He calls me a monster. I go, "I'm a human being."
God.
Little Elephant Man style.
style.
I'm not a monster.
You should have just run away crying like that. Like,
Yeah, like hobbling down the road,
like Sasquatch
hunchback.
running away.
Just knocking these teen girls over as
Crawling
you
into
run
the
past
like,
them.
giant sewer drains, you know, the big bar.
Just,
where
like,
you
become a
start sliding
chud.
back under. Yeah, you don't fit. You're like, I don't fit in here anymore.
Batman from Tangled make me cry.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I probably still will
God.
see Shazam.
Well,
Yeah.
never
Yeah,
meet your
exactly.
superheroes, kids. Never meet your superheroes. There's a guy I saw one of the only times I've been to New York who was in the Broadway of Spelling.
Oh yeah,
I love that show.
that
Spelling Bee. He's now on The
Oh,
Walking Dead
that's
as like a
cool.
main
Really?
featured character, and I'm just like, hell yeah, dude, yeah. He was the magic foot guy, man. He like brought the house
so
down in that
good.
show. My God, that OG
That
cast
show
is
is
spectacular.
great. For those
It's
of you
so
who really
fucking good.
want
Yeah.
a great musical listening experience, Putnam County Spelling Bee is
Which is-
great.
Oh my God,
What
by
we know
William
you're here
Finn.
for.
Yeah.
so fucking good. Yeah, yeah. You're here for the musical Rex. I see you.
They
Oh,
are
man.
here for those.
I see you there.
That
They don't
song
even-
at the end
they don't
will
even
make me
know what
tear
they're
up
in
every
store
single
for.
time, by the way.
My Friend the Dictionary, My Unfortunate Erection, Magic Foot. Oh God, it's so good.
God, man, I haven't listened to that soundtrack for a
Thank
while.
you,
I can't.
honey.
I get like obsessed with those when they come back in because it's like muscle.
Yep.
Oh,
memory.
yeah.
You're in town. All that shit,
In here
dude.
in town.
God damn.
So good.
I was twice, man. That's one of my
So
favorite
good.
musicals.
Anyway.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
tangent
tangent's over.
completed.
Back to dad
it's just
jokes.
crazy to me, like thinking about this whole phase one. Isn't it weird thinking about how your perceptions of some of the actors that have joined this universe have
Give me some
changed?
examples.
Yeah.
Like, well, I just think of people like, I mean,
Right.
case in point, Robert Downey would be the biggest one, but someone even like Scarlett Johansson or somebody who like, she really hadn't come into her own in her own
Yeah.
career until like, I'm not
Sure.
saying that this role did it, but like, I feel like because of this role, she started taking like way more
Again,
interesting
maybe
roles.
not
Like,
because
I actually
of this,
really
but definitely
enjoy her.
since. Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know
Like
if that was
her
just
and
because
Lucy
she was,
and stuff.
leaning into the types of roles that she wanted, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Even
Yeah.
her, she
Yeah.
was great in her.
I don't
Even
feel
as
like
just
my
a
opinion
voice
like
actor,
changed on
you know,
anybody,
it's like,
but I feel like I started developing them because of this. I didn't know a lot of these actors.
Yeah,
before
a lot
these
of the
movie
actors I
series,
sort of like, you sort of like came to know as more of a household name. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, they started bringing on some big star powers as the universe congealed and people were like, oh, the superhero thing's actually like the place to be. Pretty soon you have fucking Anthony Hopkins knocking on your door, you know?
Edward Norton regrets anything?
I don't like Edward Norton.
Did he call you a monster?
Not as just the Hulk, but as an actor.
called you a monster.
No. What was that movie he just fucking did?
I don't know.
Because I will admit, some of his most recent comedy ones, in like Wes Anderson shit, is as funny
great.
as
he's great in Moonrise Kingdom.
Like, I will concede the point that he is great comedic timing, but I didn't really like any of his earlier stuff. I like Fight Club and whatnot, but like him as an actor, I don't think I could be like, oh, I'm a huge Edward Norton
I think
fan.
that he was I think that he was a good Hulk, and that the switch. Yeah. This switch in actors, and it's the only major switch, right? Of like who's playing a major actor.
Rhodey, Cuba Gooding Jr. and
Rhodey,
right?
Oh, yes, you're right. Absolutely.
That was
that leads me
first
into a
big one of
question.
the
Do you
universe.
guys, how much better do you think these movies would be if he had stayed on? Because I liked him a lot better. Yeah, I liked him better as his little site. Who was it?
It wasn't Cuba. I don't know that guy's name. It was the guy that's in Crash. He's in Empire, I think, right now.
Oh, yeah, no, it's
or
not
one of those
it's,
shows. He's too serious of a dramatic actor for me to like him in that role.
I remember one cast.
I think the recast, in both cases, Hulk as well, was a massive
I do not
Terrence
agree.
Howard.
I think that
You don't like Ruffalo?
I think Ruffalo's fine. I think Ed Norton would have been much better. And I think that the transition was very rough. Like, it's not a great transition. I do think I don't know. The Captain America the that one is better.
That was an Iron Man. That was an Iron Man.
Yeah. I think that the Iron Man one is better.
Terrence Howard is who it is.
I think the whole
Terrence Howard liked him better.
Interesting.
I don't know.
He was fun. He was funnier in Iron Man 1 than the one we have now is more serious. See where they're on a plane and he's all drunk and stuff. Like, it's funny. He was good.
No, but I feel like they do comedy. Like, I've never seen that guy crack a joke in any of his roles. Like, he just strictly plays serious
I don't know.
stuff.
I thought he was good.
Yeah.
He's like the switch, because I don't mind Mark Ruffalo's switch. I think he's doing fine. Like, it was...
the biggest switch was
Mark Ruffalo.
Chris Evans from Human Torch to Captain America.
Oh, let's be real.
That's true, but I guess only kind of. I think Mark Ruffalo has been doing well recently. He's great in Infinity War. He's obviously the best part of Ragnarok, but in the times that they were in the switch times, right? In the moments between. I think that it was a very awkward switch for him getting into the character. It took him a little while to sort of like become the Hulk, and I think that the audiences were not receptive to it in the beginning either. I just think that Ed Norton probably would have been a smoother stay if he had stayed, but I mean, I guess he didn't. So
yeah,
I feel like a lot like I kind of felt about Christian Bale. In the Batman, where I think that Christian Bale plays the best Bruce Wayne that there ever was or will be. I do not think he was a great Batman. And I think that Mark Ruffalo makes a great face and head shape for the CGI Hulk. I don't think he makes a great Bruce Banner. I would like an Edward Norton Bruce Banner. And then when he changes, it's CGI Mark Ruffalo.
Do you think at the time...
Why couldn't they have done
Avengers
that?
Come out, and I think that was the first time we saw the Hulk after the Hulk movie, right?
Yeah.
They were like, we have this really great Hulk 3D model, but it does not look like Edward Norton. Like, we got to find the right
It looks
actor.
a lot like Mark Ruffalo,
Edward Norton has a skinny face.
That's way cheaper to just switch the actor than it is to redo this whole thing.
Then redo the CGI.
Dude, imagine... Did they ever make it? Like an old Avengers where Andre the Giant was a Hulk?
No, Lou Ferrigno, but they should have done Andre the Giant would have been a way better Hulk than
that
would have
been great.
For sure.
That's what I'm saying. Because Lou Ferrigno like coasted off that.
I
way too
know
long.
who Lou Ferrigno is. Like, because of the Hulk, I would not
and nothing else.
He's in I Love You Man. But, like, as Lou Ferrigno from the Hulk.
Like, as Lou Ferrigno from the Hulk, yeah. Yeah. God damn, man. That's when you know you made it. When you're playing a version of yourself,
Dude, playing the dude
on a
disguised
movie.
as another dude.
being, yeah.
Yeah,
See, Robert Downey from that movie to Iron Man, man. That's
so
great.
good.
He was already in it.
They're gonna reset. They're gonna go
think
back
that
in
was
time so far
post.
back that they have to get like Lou Ferrigno to beat the Hulk. You're like, we went too far back in time.
That would actually be pretty funny.
That would be actually hilarious.
Get Adam West.
Yeah, Adam West. Oh,
Wait, I
that'd
guess
be
he was
so
Batman.
great.
That doesn't
It's
fit,
like,
but still,
it's like
it'd be
a
funny.
different. It's a
That
different
could
universe
be a Deadpool
entirely.
bit where he just goes through all the different Batman universes, like Tim Burton,
Oh my
and hops
gosh,
over to
that'd be
Nolan, and
Yeah, that's
that would be
Deadpool.
good. Well, Michael, what was the movie we pitched the other day?
The buddy cop movie where all the buddy cops from all the buddy cop movies, essentially it's like a buddy cop Avengers. Yeah.
Are in the
Oh,
same
So we got
universe.
Rush
It's a
Hour,
buddy
we
cop
got Lethal
crossover.
Weapon, we got
So they're at like a cop convention when some shit goes down, and it's like we started with comedy ones, but then it ended at like Woody Harrelson and McConaughey from True Detective.
Get them all.
Like you even have the
Yeah.
super serious duos. Yeah. And what was it called, Michael?
Oh my gosh.
It should either be called
Yeah,
"We're Getting
that
Too
was
Old
the
for
one
This Shit,"
that I liked.
or no, it was something else. Oh, Why Can't We Be
Why
Friends?
can't we be friends?
The
The
movie.
movie.
And Joe Pesci is everybody's annoying sidekick.
I think
Yeah, I
that
got
they'd
a
all
question.
have to have
Who
like
plays
one
the,
annoying
police
like
chief?
give me your badge like police cop leader too, right? Yeah. Give
Just-
me your badge and gun. You're a loose cannon. And send in the next duo. I gotta
Yeah,
take their
just-
badge and gun too.
There's just a line of them out the door.
Yeah.
They're just all ants.
And at some point, there's just a street race with all of them in whatever car. Because there was like Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah,
There was like so many different duos.
And Jackie Chan from Rush Hour is just like running on the side of the road during a car chase.
He's like, wait for me! Right behind him. Chris
Chris
Tucker.
Tucker.
Chris Tucker.
Doing
yeah.
his Michael Jackson moonwalk down the street, because what else is he going to do?
Exactly. And for some reason, he has the hair he had in Fifth Element. I don't know what's happening in this
The
movie.
production design
It's
in this
just
movie is
everything.
crazy.
I would just like a movie where like there's a cast, right? Like a normal movie cast, but they play all the characters from their career in that one movie. Like the movie's just
Right.
made up of all their characters. I would like
It'd
that.
be...
Where you
Oh my
at,
God.
Adam Sandler? Where you at, boy?
Well, that's what I'm saying. We talked about this before, where we have like a super movie with with like Adam Sandler and like Eddie Murphy and all the characters from all the movies where they play multiple characters.
Yeah. Tyler Perry, Adam Sandler, Eddie
You have an
Murphy.
obsession. It's called Inception, the movie, the musical.
Medea
where
meets
it's
the
just, like,
clumps
all
at Big
these
Mama's
people's movies
house,
inside
like,
each other.
or something like.
Or all the fake presidents from
Oh
all
yeah,
these
that'd be
movies
great.
are,
Like everyone
some
who plays Winston
United
Churchill
Nations.
in a movie is all in one room.
I think more things just need to be like Doctor Who, where people play multiple versions of the same character. Like the Hulk
Yeah.
should have been a different actor
That
in every single
that
movie.
actually would have been a great way to take it. Like every time he turns into the Hulk,
Right?
he's like a different person when he drops back out of it or something like that.
And the original people that already played it just become
Yeah.
peripheral, like
Yeah.
extras type characters.
That would have been interesting.
And they're like the first ever Lady Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Didn't Ricky Gervais did that in one of his movies where like the bartender and the taxi driver wasn't the taxi driver was Edward Norton. Like all the minor characters were all like
I'm sure.
really
Yeah,
big
I'm
A-list
sure.
actors.
Sounds like something he would do.
Louis C.K. was in that too.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, is that Invention of Flying?
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. That was awesome. That's
That
an old
movie's
movie
really
now.
good. That's one of the best like high
very
concept
old movie.
movies. It's so good.
Yeah. Have you seen his new
I watched
series?
the first two
Just premiered,
episodes, and
Afterlife.
it brought me down. It's funny and it's good.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, I hear the
TV
first
show.
one's like sad.
Fucking bummer. Well, so is his other one where he played the guy in the old people's homes.
Yeah.
I
Old
know,
People Home?
Derek. Funny.
Derek.
Such a bummer.
Oh my god, it was so good, but I can't do this to myself. Like, I don't want to spend my days off like
I
just
might have to watch
almost crying the whole day. Like, yeah,
it. Is that on
Yeah.
Netflix? Okay.
I think one of the best things that's to come out of this sort of like first wave of Marvel universes is every single time I go see a movie with my girlfriend during the credit scene, I'll.
Oh, his audio cut again.
yeah, your audio cut out. I can't hear a word you're saying.
No.
Nope, not a
I can
thing.
see your mouth moving though because
Yeah.
we're on face cam together, but
Yeah,
there's still no audio.
no.
It should come back.
Happening?
There.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello.
There it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There'll be
I was
audio
saying-
on your version because you were talking, but
Yeah, exactly.
I was saying one of my favorite things to come out of this sort of like first wave of Marvel Cinematic Universe is that every time I go and see a movie with my girlfriend, I'll turn to her during the credits and go, "Well, I'm really excited for the Green Book Cinematic Universe," or "Well, I'm really excited for the If Beale Street Could Talk Cinematic Universe." Just making that stupid joke that there's a cinematic universe for every single
everything.
indie movie that we see.
there should be more people should build universes around their movies because
Right?
it works when it's done
Well,
really
pull
well.
what M. Night Shyamalan did and just make a universe by surprise, like what he did with Split and Glass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Or you could try and force a movie like a movie universe like Universal did with the monster movie universe.
The Mummy, and they tried to start it with Van Helsing,
Yeah,
with the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing.
and it didn't work very well
No.
because no one liked the Mummy.
Or cars and
No.
planes.
Oh God, Cars and Planes. Planes isn't even like a Pixar movie. It's just like
Stupid.
straight Disney.
Yeah.
Just a cash grab, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. So like, speaking of their whole phase thing, that's I guess what the intention is for phase 2 is they've completed the Fox acquisition. So
Right.
they're going to be
Get them
cultivating
X-Men.
Yeah, phase 2 is going to be completely X-Men centric.
Oh, interesting.
And people
I
are
like that a
wondering-
lot
I
because the
love
X-Men
that.
are so much more interesting than the
Fuck
entire
yeah.
rest of
and
the
it's
Marvel
time
comics.
to tie
Like,
them into the universe because like that's been very weird.
Yeah.
Especially with Spider-Man. Like I'm glad that was smooth. I will say Spider-Man's transition was a smooth one. Not
Yeah.
that like
Right.
they would have tied Toby or any of those other things into their universe. I feel like he was not only a perfect Peter Parker, but a perfect like I don't know introduction into the universe. I liked how they
Right.
developed that.
Yeah, no, I think that was great. And I loved his movie, too.
Yeah, dude.
I think he's a great Spider-Man.
he's a great Spider-Man.
I think Homecoming definitely second, but Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man.
Still haven't
Oh,
seen
for
it.
sure.
I need to get it.
Oh, my gosh.
It's out
There's
now.
no question
It's
about
so
that.
much the best Spider-Man movie. It's like it's almost funny that it's so good after right after they give the rights to Spider-Man back to Marvel.
Yeah.
'Cause they're like, we don't know how to make a Spider-Man movie, and they're like,
We'll just make
give
this."
it one more shot.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's do a
and
cartoon
it's
this
so-
time.
Yeah, it
Nailed
is
it.
so good.
It's incredible. Well, because my girlfriend didn't even want to watch it. She was like, I don't want to watch another Spider-Man origin movie. I just don't.
Yeah.
And then the first couple minutes are like, okay, here's what happened. I was Spider-Man, and she was like, okay, I don't have to watch anything else. Like, I can keep
Yeah.
going now because
get it
that's
now.
what I
Yeah.
expected
Yep.
to have to watch this whole movie of, and it was the first 2 minutes.
Well, it's very good, Greg. I do recommend it.
Oh fuck yeah! There's such a long list of movies like that I still need to
It's
get
one of
to.
it's the best Spider-Man movie, but it's also one of the best animated movies
That's
of the
what I'm
last
saying.
few
Yeah,
years.
I've heard
Oh,
like,
for sure.
literally nothing but good things. I like having movies like that out there, or video games that I haven't played yet and shit. It's just like knowing
Right.
that there's some piece of gold out there. But yeah, so there's been some predictions over like what the tone and purpose of like that phase could be. People are predicting that maybe Doom shows up as the next Thanos mega villain.
Okay.
Like MF Doom,
MF Doom. Yes. Yeah.
the
Motherfucking,
rapper,
motherfucking
the
Doom.
sort of like 2004 rapper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Damn,
and all
look
the
at you,
dead
bro.
rappers who have died recently are going to be like his lieutenants.
Yeah.
and shit.
Oh, man.
Nipsey Hussle's
Yeah.
there, obviously.
Yeah. So I would like that. I would like it done right. The last Fantastic Four movie was really bad.
Awful.
Fantastic Four has really been dealt a bad hand forever.
They've been really,
Yep.
really struggling with them Fantastic Four movies.
But I feel
yes.
like
Yep.
if now is a good time as any to do it right, you know?
Right.
I don't even think they should. I think they should do what they. The Fantastic Four should be the next Hulk, where they show up. They're part of some movies. Don't give them a movie. Like,
Don't have their own movie.
No.
You think no own
I
movie.
don't
There's no
want
way
them to
they
have
do
their
that.
own movie.
I think
I
maybe
agree.
they
I
make
don't
them
think
agree
they
part
with
of
will.
the
Greg.
universe
There's
first,
no way.
test the water, and then maybe they made a movie that way. Like maybe they
I
do
hope
it like that.
I hope they make a good one, and I know they're going to make.
They have
another
to.
one.
If Doom is the
I
villain,
just
they
don't
would
want
have
them to
They would-
because
Absolutely.
yeah, they absolutely.
There's no way
will.
you could do a There's no way you could have Doctor Doom without. But his whole origin story is their origin story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Right? He was just on the other side of the protective glass and got blasted by it more, right?
I think so,
something like that. Yeah. So
but I don't know. I can't figure out those movies, but
that would be
I'm
cool
just-
to bring the X-Men in, bring Fantastic Four in, bring Doom. I heard whispers that like the whole Dark Phoenix thing could have something to do with
Oh,
her
interesting.
being some sort of antagonist type.
I've heard a lot of rumors that movie is not going to be good, by the way.
That sucks.
I would not be surprised if that movie is bad.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite
Also-
X-Men. Is
Yeah, there's
Jean
like
Grey.
rumblings, like
She's the
people that
shit.
have seen like early cuts, and some of the actors have said privately that they're like embarrassed to have been on the project.
no.
Bummer.
That's a bum.
What a
I
fizzle
hope-
out for a series that started so fucking strong.
Well,
I
it's
know.
it's gotten
Oh
too
my
weird
God.
because they did the mistake of messing with time travel, and that brings us back to the beginning of this.
That was the only time it's been done brilliantly. What a
was
genius
good.
way to
I
bring
agree.
a new cast in and still get to use your older cast. Fucking brilliant,
can't-
dude. Fucking
Yeah.
brilliant.
I don't know.
Dude,
I don't-
it's so good.
I agree.
I liked X-Men
So,
First
so good.
Class, and I liked
First Class is golden.
and I liked X-Men. What's the
Days
one
of
where they
Future
send
was the first
Days of
one.
Future
Days
Past?
of Future Past.
Or
it
sorry,
was-
second one.
Fine, but then the ending and it shows all the
Days
people.
of Future Past is great, except for it's got too much Wolverine in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The ending is great. The ending in the sort of like stadium with Mystique and the gun, I think that's one of the best endings to a like climaxes to a Marvel movie. It's so good.
1000%. It's
where she's
really,
like
really
just
good.
making a choice in her character that impacts the whole world. That's like what it's all about. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's so great.
It's really,
so
really
well.
good. But then it's the end of that one, right, where Logan comes back to the future time or whatever, and he's back in the mansion,
And nobody
Jean
but
Grey
him and
is
Professor X knows
there,
what happens.
and like
Yeah.
everyone's back alive and everything's happy.
But it
I'm
works
like, well, what
going
was the
into
point?
Wolverine, though, man. It works alone just for that tie-in, I like. You know
Do
what
you
I
mean
mean?
for Logan?
Yeah. Or sorry, Logan. Yeah.
Okay.
I think you meant for the movie Wolverine. I was like,
No. Sorry. No, but
Nothing
for
was
Logan,
good about
like,
that.
I thought that bridged so well into that universe, which they did not explain a lot of what happened prior to
Right.
that. It was really shadowy and, like, dark. God, I love Logan. What a good movie.
That was a good
You were
movie.
fucking.
Yeah.
You were
Have you
great
seen the
in that
original?
movie.
Have you seen
Lucas.
Shane?
You were fucking amazing in that movie. As the pale guy. The tall
Oh
pale
yeah,
guy.
yeah. Stephen Merchant.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Give Ricky our regards. We were just talking
Yeah,
about him.
I will. Yep. Yes. And Carl Pilkington.
Yes.
And, the whole
Yes.
crew.
Yes.
Do you have a diary entry from Carl Pickington for us? I would love to hear some of that.
I don't, but I certainly wish that we did. They're making a joke about how I look a lot like Stephen Merchant.
Yeah. For those of you that aren't on face cam with us right now.
Realizing this is a non-visual
Damn
medium.
plebeians. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess predictions about Avengers. Who do you think is gonna die? One big Avenger. Who are you certain is gonna die?
Either, but not both of, Iron Man and Captain America.
Both of them.
Yeah,
I say both.
I think one dies and one survives, but is ultimately done with their arc.
Is Pepper pregnant?
right. Ooh, is there something
That's a big question.
brewing in the pot?
Do you think that Pepper is going to be donning an Iron Man suit in this movie and helping
No.
with what goes on here?
No,
Because-
it would be so against everything that her character stands for.
But
would
it is a
completely
comic.
invalidate
It's a
her
comic
character
book
arc.
thing.
It is a comic book thing.
And everybody's
I
wondering
would be
if
so
Tony's in
against
trouble.
Everything they've set up for her character so far.
But in the
she's done it
comics, you don't
once.
have to work with Gwyneth Paltrow.
Well,
and I
that's true,
feel
too.
I wouldn't
But-
want to be on
That's
set being
true.
sold goop too all day long. No,
Yeah,
thank
or
you.
having a woman try to uncouple me, whatever the fuck that means.
yeah.
Yeah, because she uses the gauntlet in the second Iron Man, third Iron
Yes.
Man.
I think it's
third.
two.
No, it's the third one because
Is it three?
she gets
Is it
the
three? Oh, it is
the hot
three.
hand. Yeah,
And then-
2 is with the guy with the whip. And
Tony has mentioned
My
that he
bird.
has built all these suits, so I'm wondering if she has some sort of like emergency suit that would be used at some point in this movie.
Right.
I've heard that rumor.
yeah,
I couldn't care either way. I don't
yeah.
really care about that.
I just don't
character.
really like her so much as a person, so I
I
don't
want more Jon
to see
Favreau.
more of her.
There's been literally no happy in the Avengers side of things recently. I understand he's over in Spider-Man,
Yeah,
but Jon Favreau was the G that started this whole fucking thing, and he better be in this movie. I'm not kidding.
right.
I can think of.
Do you think he will? Do you actually think
I
he'll
think
be in
he
the
will.
movie?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
It's the last Avengers movie. Like, everyone needs to be in this movie, man.
I guess.
Right? Even
Maybe.
my boy Clark Gregg playing whatever, Mr. What the hell is his name? Starts with an S. God damn it.
Superman.
He's Nick Fury's buddy that he works with.
Tim
Agent
mentioned
Coulson?
Yes, Coulson. I knew there was a S sound in it.
Yeah, right there in the middle of the last name.
I just want to see
there.
like his picture frame or something. Like, they need to have everybody at some point in this movie.
Well, he's technically alive in
I
the
know, but like maybe he doesn't have much, he hasn't
universe.
been around much either. So
He's alive, but they haven't explained how.
No, because maybe they did in the
that's
TV
the
show.
deal.
I
Because
don't
he's
know.
alive in the TV show
Yeah,
only,
I don't
right?
think that
He's
counts
not
in
alive in
this.
the movies,
No.
kind of.
yeah, so stupid.
But the TV show is technically canon, but I've also
Right, but
never
they
been
haven't
bothered to
explained
watch
how
it.
he's
so-
alive.
Yeah, no. They're
Well,
like, he signed a contract to be on a TV show. That's how he's there.
Right.
Like,
Do you
That's how
guys
he's
think
alive.
that because they just canceled like a ton of Marvel series on
Right.
Netflix?
Because they're not good.
Well,
did you see? Oh,
most of
hot
them really are
take.
not. Punisher
Right.
was pretty good.
I enjoyed
was
Punisher.
pretty
I
good.
enjoyed Daredevil season 1 and season 3.
I enjoyed Daredevil season 1 and not Defenders. That was awful.
I like
Luke Cage season 1
Luke
was
Cage
good.
was solid. Season
And
one.
I like Jessica
and
Jones. I like
Jessica Jones season 1 is really great.
Yep.
And then nothing past season 1 of any of those is good.
Yeah, that's probably why. But
No.
do you think it's part of kind of their effort to clear the way for the Disney TV, the Disney Plus, and all these new
I think
maybe.
so.
AAA series spinoffs
I
that
mean,
are coming?
Honestly, probably.
I think so. Yeah.
To clear the
Yeah.
slate. Or
Well, I
at
know
least
it's
get all
kind
their
of a-
shows on one platform, maybe, is the plan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as long as they had those contracts going with Netflix, there was going to be a lot of issues. So I think Netflix was just like, you know what? No, like, we don't need to deal with this. We've got our own shows.
Yeah.
Get them out of here.
Right.
I don't want to have to do a
Interesting,
split
though.
deal with Disney Plus, our big competitor.
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Eventual big
It's
competitor.
going to be kind of weird a couple years without, like, so many superhero movies dropping. You know?
Yeah.
They need a break, though.
They really do. Not
I
that,
think-
Oh my
like,
god, I'm so exhausted. I've considered not even going to see
what
see
are you
Endgame for a
talking
couple
about,
of
dude?
weeks.
Like, if
What?
anything, like, you can take a break after this movie. Like, as an audience, we all get to take a break, but you got to go see it.
Right?
Otherwise, what's it all fucking been for?
Well, I mean, like not for like a few weeks, just to like let it die down. Like,
Oh,
let
hell
people
no,
stop
because
talking
otherwise
about
it's
it,
all
like-
going to get spoiled, man. Like, I have
Right?
to see it ASAP, so it's just done.
Yep, I want to see
Bro,
it the
I
first,
work
like,
till
Monday or
10:30
Tuesday.
this Sunday. You think I'm going to be walking around anywhere or on the internet at all until I get to watch Game of Thrones, man?
I guess. I mean, I'm not watching Game of
Spoiler
Thrones until
culture
my
is
girlfriend
fucking
gets back
real.
from Mexico. So,
Spoiler
Oh
culture
my
is
gosh.
real.
It is. I am not going to have anything ruined for me.
Dude, I
Watch
literally
it all
get-
right away.
see, here's the difference. I don't care about spoilers. I just don't
See,
care.
I generally don't, but not when like I'm actually interested in the movie and like
Yeah.
literally there to see it. Like I got tickets to Force Awakens and we were walking into the theater and these kids walked out. We're like, fucking knew it was gonna be Han. I knew he was gonna die. And I was just like,
Great.
all right, cool. Guess I gotta wear earplugs in public.
Yeah,
Where
right.
to go. Fucking sucks.
Yeah, it's awful.
But
yeah.
yeah, I'm excited for this. Like, it's like what we were talking about. Like, I have no doubt in my mind they're gonna deliver on almost everything in this, and I can't say that about anybody. No director, even Peter Jackson, J.J. Abrams, like nobody's 100% with this shit.
Right.
And I
No.
feel like something
But
with this magnitude.
You know what? You know what is 100% money.
Danny DeVito, man.
It's going to make bank regardless, but
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna
no,
make
I agree. It's
thousands of dollars, whether it's good or not.
Thousands.
Billions and billions and billions. Thousands of
I'm
thousands.
on record saying safely it's going to make at least $50,000 on opening day.
It broke pre-sale tickets, I think, already. At least.
Oh, so it's
of,
probably coming close to 50,000 already.
Yeah, it's probably there. I don't know how much Robert Downey takes.
Someone
off the top
spent
of that,
$10,000 on a ticket on eBay, right?
but-
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God damn.
Which is insane.
Right?
Yeah, why?
To wait I can't wait a day. I can't wait.
I can't
2
wait
weeks.
a day.
I can't
my
wait
God.
10 hours until the movie
Why
theater
don't you
opens
just
up in the
fucking
morning.
quit your job, get a job at a movie theater for a day, make sure they train you the weekend that Endgame comes out,
Yeah.
fucking sneak a peep and then quit.
Yeah, and then find a new job in your selected field, and that will still probably cost you less than $10,000.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Keep your dignity, man.
Crazy.
Quitting a job to go work
Quitting
at
a
a movie
job to
theater
go
is keeping your dignity.
Do some sort of spy op on a theater.
I've worked at a movie theater. There's
Have
no
you?
dignity there. It's
Yeah.
No
rough.
dignity there.
It is rough.
Damn. David Fincher worked at the movie theater in Lucas and I's college town,
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Varsity,
Yeah, he did work at the Varsity.
which is
That's
supposedly
like a famous thing they always say.
the theater that he spliced the porn image to and he worked at that ended up in
Yeah.
Fight Club. Which is funny if that's true.
I would believe that coming from him.
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't do much these days, does he?
I don't know.
David Fincher?
Yeah, he did
didn't
Gone
just
Girl.
Didn't he just do Death Love Robots?
Is that him?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know if he directed
like
them
I
all,
haven't
but I
heard
think
his
he
name for
produced
so
it.
long.
Okay. That sounds right.
I like me some David Fincher.
Yes, he just did Love, Death, Robots on Netflix, which is an animated TV
Oh,
series.
Netflix. That would make sense.
It's
We just
not
reactivated
good,
our
but
account after being off.
it's very David Fincher-y.
Yeah, yeah, you can definitely say that. You know what somebody had brought up though? Again, in another podcast I was listening to, they were talking about like the directors that are getting brought on for these superhero movies, because Taika did an amazing job with Ragnarok, and I don't
yeah,
think
for
anybody saw that coming other than maybe Marvel themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, wow, like, and I you look at someone like Jon Favreau, like all these directors who, I don't know, I think it's their comedy, it must be their comedy backgrounds or something. But I
Yeah.
think they need to
don't
bring
know.
in more outside directors and whatnot like that to just like, I don't know, they almost they reinvented Thor.
They need They need directors with vision.
It's not even, I don't even know if it's that. You just, I don't know. It's like, I admittedly hated both Captain America series and Thor until almost the point they were in Avengers.
Yep.
And I think they did too. Like, Thor 1 is not
Absolutely.
good. And
Thor 1, Thor 2, boring.
his
not
character
good
doesn't feel
movies.
realized.
You heard it here first, folks. It's not good.
But I just felt like they hadn't really nailed that character until, I don't know, it settled in and his hair looked awful.
And you know why
Like,
Thor's not good? Because Zachary Levi's in. No.
Thor,
Yeah, he has
dude,
such a big
Chris
role in
Hemsworth
it,
would
too.
call you a monster too. You just say thank you because he's got that charming
Yeah.
accent.
I know.
That's an actor that I did not expect
To be as funny as he is,
to
first
come
of all.
into the career he did. Yeah, just because like of where he came
Would you-
from. Like, I don't know.
Have you
as
seen the
soon-
trailer for the new Men in Black? It's got him and the girl that plays
not only
Valkyrie.
that, did you see the?
And it
was it
looks so good.
What's the movie he just did at the hotel? What the one night at
Oh, Bad Times at the El Royale.
Bad Times
he was
at the
so
El Royale.
Yeah,
good.
El Royale.
Holy shit, dude!
He was so
Like-
good.
Oh my god. Yeah, I love when you find out an actor is really funny and they've never gotten a chance to be. Like, those are some of my favorite moments.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chris
Yeah.
Hemsworth is great. He's got
I
great
think
comedic
he does have great comedic timing, and I
He
think
really
the
does.
first two Thor movies didn't utilize that.
timing. Oh yeah.
And I think they were like, Thor has to be serious because he's
No, like it almost
Thor?
makes sense that he would almost revel in the fact that he's a fucking god. And like just like especially when it comes to him enjoying and having to experience the real world, you know, that is so foreign to him, like that kind of should be comedic. Captain America was like they really tried to play off that
Right.
fish out of water cracking
Yeah.
jokes thing, but
But like, also, do they all have to be funny? That's a
well,
problem.
no,
that I've
Black
sort of
Panther
had.
isn't funny. It's
No,
and it's got
good
moments,
point.
but
Black Panther, the character isn't funny. There's lots of comedic parts of the movie where the other characters in the movie
are
are
poking
doing
fun with him.
Marvel movies type humor.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
but
But I would say the
Does-
same with like Black Widow's not really a funny character. Hawkeye,
Right, but I
cracks
mean,
a lot
do
of
all of the
jokes.
movies have to be funny?
I
see
don't
what
think
you
all
mean.
of them. I mean, there's been a lot, and I guess more recently, but not all of them have been. I
I
watched
think the funnier ones
the
are
Winter
more
Soldier
successful,
wasn't.
though.
I think
Yeah.
Winter Soldier is a good example of one that's not
Sure.
over the top funny, but it's I
Sure.
think
Yeah,
a great.
I think
movie.
that's the
I
perfect
really like
balance. But then you look at all the other ones, like Guardians of the Galaxy's entire series is like massively funny, and they're just a bunch of...
Well, the Guardians ones are just almost comedies, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the way they are. And that's something that, like, I think they really wanted to push, because, like, think of Edgar Wright. I wanted to see Edgar Wright Ant-Man so bad. I've never been more down for a movie than the Edgar Wright, Paul Rudd-led Ant-Man. And I think that's part of why I don't really give a fuck about that franchise right now, even with Paul Rudd, is that, like...
I think I don't care about it because the movies have been kind of lukewarm.
Not... Well, they're the lowest grossing of all their movies, which makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah.
Ant-Man 1 was good, but not great.
No.
And Ant-Man 2 was not good at all.
No.
Yeah.
I think part of the problem with the viewership of those movies, too, is, like, this movie now is going to be the first time Ant-Man is really... super relevant to the group of heroes at large. Right. I think he was he in Civil War at all?
Well, he was.
He was
part of that big fight.
War. But even then, it was kind of like he was more of a prop for that fight scene.
Well, and even in the fight itself, he had no stakes. He's kind of like, who are you? Oh, I guess I'm fighting on this team. Like, he doesn't understand the stakes.
He even makes that joke in the scene where he's like, I'm just happy to be here.
Peter
Thanks
Parker,
for inviting me, guys.
Yeah, Spider-Man was the same way. He's like, oh boy, a fight. Cool. Who are you? Oh, we're using made-up names. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was a great line,
I do agree. That's an issue I have with a lot of these movies, is that we reached a point that it stopped being character building, and it was very clearly, obviously working towards the Thanos Endgame, and every movie had a purpose. And at that point, it was like this, oh, you can't avoid seeing this. Like, you have to see it, and you have to see it in this order and before this movie. And I feel like Ant-Man suffered from the pressure of that. Having to be a filler movie or one of two movies between the fucking Avengers movies. Like, that's a lot of pressure for an unproven franchise. And none of the other characters are in his movie, so he doesn't even get the... At least Spider-Man has Tony Stark fucking hitting on his mom and shit.
Everywhere in that movie,
Tony's trying to bang Peter Parker's mom. I'll watch 2 hours of that.
Yeah,
I guess Tony Stark's the real
Ant-Man. Did try to bang his mom. The graveyard was closed, but he tried to bang.
I know he was made in a lab out of spiders or something. I forget the origin story. I haven't seen it enough.
He's that guy from Rick and Morty. Yeah, he's like made out of a million spiders.
I actually had a really good topical question for this podcast.
Yes.
It's a two-parter.
Okay.
Spider-Man 3. Tobey Maguire. Was that universe snapped, even though it's not officially the same Spider-Man of the MCU? Like, is that universe snapped?
I don't know what you mean.
Like, is the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man universe and the Tobey Maguire universe all the same universe as this one? And did they get affected by
I'm going to give you what I think that you're asking for, and yes, you.
Okay. Then quick and immediate follow-up to that question. Did Sandman dissolve into dust, or was he already dust?
Could Sandman have been dusted? Great.
And how would they have built the CGI for that? Because how does sand turn into dust? Like, I have so many questions.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that whole line of questioning wasn't just to get to a near dad joke of...
Yeah.
No, I want to know. Like, the real question is, did Sandman get turned to dust? And can he snap? Can Sandman snap?
Well, he can turn... I don't know. He kind of goes into person form for a bit.
Enter Sandman and Mr. Sandman. Those are the only two songs he's allowed to sing and snap to. That's a weird fucking superpower.
Yeah. That he turns into sand?
Yeah, that's very specific.
I'm just pissed that when he faded away at the end of Spider-Man 3, he didn't go, goodbye, and just, like, fade into sand.
Yeah.
That movie was all sorts of wrong.
Yeah. I feel like he could fade into sand, and then it cuts to that scene in Lion King with the dust flying around, and then Rafiki takes Sandman out of the thing.
The king has returned.
Dude, Bill Hader was a fucking PA on that movie.
Right? Yeah.
On what movie?
On Spider-Man 3.
Oh,
might have been 2, but I think it was 3.
That's
because he talks in an interview about how the first time he met James Franco was dropping fake styrofoam bricks on him during a scene. Like before they had ever met each other, and he was just a PA, and then they were in Pineapple Express and shit together, and it was like, it's so fucking weird.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Right?
It must be weird knowing James Franco though too. So,
right?
Yeah,
He came
Like,
into
did you
our
ever-
work that one time,
Yeah, I was
Michael,
gonna
and just
say,
sat in the
like-
corner and was like sad.
Yeah, it sounds about right, though. But yeah, I bumped into him a couple times. Me and Greg used to work at a cafe right next to one of his
acting
studio.
school. Yeah, his
Yeah,
acting
school in
studio.
North Hollywood. And it brought in a lot of characters, including
It did.
the Frank man himself.
As well as what's his face? His speaking of, what was that? God damn it! I can't think of any names of people or things tonight. We were just talking about Lou Ferrigno. That movie.
Lou Ferrigno?
Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, Lou
Lou
Ferrigno.
Ferrigno.
What was that
No.
movie that you were talking about with the Hulk and Lou Ferrigno?
I don't know. What movie was it? Oh, I Love You, Man.
I Love You, Man. Yes, thank you.
I Love You, Man, yes.
Who's opposite Paul Rudd in that? I can't think of his name.
I keep saying Marshall.
Tall.
Oh, God.
Why can't
Sean
I think? No.
Bean. No, Marshall Mathers.
Why can't I think of his name? I hate my life.
Jason Segel.
There it is.
Jason
I
Segel.
just haven't heard that name in a while. Maybe.
Not Steven Seagal's son.
Steven Seagal.
Yeah, it's Steven Seagal's son, right? Yes.
Steven
And
Seagal.
Mandy Moore and Demi
would
Moore are
be-
Also a
related too,
karate
right?
master. Yeah.
Bro, Steven Seagal for Doom Phase 2.
Oh, my God.
Steven Seagal for Doom. Yes, absolutely. No, Larry David as Doom.
Ooh.
The end credit scene, it shows him, and it's like the
Yeah. Well, shit. I guess that's all to wrap up for today's
Right?
episode. We talked
Yeah.
about a lot.
I think so.
I think we probably spent at least 20 minutes talking about the Avengers.
So my prediction is that Lucas is not going to see it opening week.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you're going to know the endings to both Game of Thrones and Avengers before you get to see them. That's
Yeah,
my
that sucks,
prediction
man.
Yeah,
for you.
probably. Honestly, probably.
Yeah.
What a sad life. Like, this is your life, man. You should live it. Don't
Well,
let
after
this
this
happen.
month, what's even left to watch? Like, what the fuck do we have to be excited about after this month?
Yeah,
I know.
This is heavy. A heavy, heavy couple weeks of...
right? Well, this
Cinema.
whole month, it's like, okay, we're Game of Thrones, I mean, is almost over. Avengers is almost done. The Mueller report was a bust. What do I have to look forward to anymore?
Well, Michael, I've got good news for you. She-Ra Princesses of Power Season 2 is coming out this April.
Are they
so
paying
very
you?
soon.
Guys, The Big
You
Bang
mentioned
Theory
it all.
starts its final season in September.
Oh, God.
I'm ready. I should review every fucking episode of the final season,
Kill me.
having watched with none of the
Absolutely
rest
kill
of
me.
it.
Dude, I would film some review. I would do that with you.
You want to? Should we
yeah.
watch the final season of Big Bang Theory and just like rip it apart? And at the end, we're like,
No,
damn.
please no.
Let's start
Please
season
don't
1,
do
episode
that,
1.
Guys. Please do not do that, guys.
I'm so into it.
Oh, man.
No.
I would hate myself. I've dared myself to do a lot of things like that. I once was gonna lock myself in a room once all the Twilight movies were out and just watch them all in one go, and just lock myself in a room with like a fifth of fucking rum and
I mean,
a
I've
camera.
seen them all.
But that's the thing, I haven't, and I never want to. But I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it and try to like kill myself doing it. You know what I mean?
You should though. You should go watch the Twilight movies.
Should I?
Tell us how they are.
To get a true
Yeah,
appreciation for fucking Kristen Stewart's art, her
To like
artistry.
just to like see things, just to like know why it's bad. Just like any.
I
yeah,
do agree that
to live,
it's important
you know?
to watch bad shit just to like solidify that part of your spectrum on what bad truly is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we call a lot of things bad that just aren't.
If you
And
don't
like, figure out
experience
if
the
you
bad,
agree with
how do
it.
you
Like,
know when
maybe
something
you'll
is beautiful?
love it.
Yeah.
But that's part of my biggest fear. Why do you think I'm locking myself in the room?
Yeah.
I'm not allowed out unless I still don't like it. If I end up liking it, just leave me in there.
Yeah.
Just fucking leave me in there, dude. I don't want out.
I don't want out.
2
of it.
Yeah.
weeks from now, we're gonna boot these cameras back up, and behind you, we're gonna see that like that book collection with the hand holding the apple. It's all Twilight stuff.
It's gonna be a Twilight podcast from here on out.
They're gonna
The
look
irony is
paler
it
than I
probably
do.
will end up being that.
Well, after all that, I'm thinking of some sort of like escape room where the way out is to watch an episode of The Big Bang Theory and then take a lie detector test saying you didn't like it and pass.
if you like it, you get,
yeah.
Because
you
I'll be
gotta
honest, I was
watch
watching
another
this-
episode till you learn better.
That's like a torturous like it.
I was at a
test.
friend's house once and they were watching Glee, which is a show I never
Yeah.
would want to watch, and I laughed a lot, too much. in one episode.
Oh no!
And I was
Oh,
like,
no.
dude, what
Greg,
what the hell? Like,
Was it the pilot? The pilot of that show is legitimately okay,
there was just
and
some
then
line
nothing
deliveries.
else in it.
I can't remember what was happening, but there were some deliveries in the episode that got me, man.
I have such a
Pretty good.
beef with that show. The way you feel about dad jokes, Lucas.
And I've got a pork with it.
That show kind of is a dad joke, man.
It's awful. It's racist. It's a racist show.
Is it?
Yeah.
Every
yes,
character is a
absolutely.
stereotype of their like ethnicity, but
It's
they're like,
just
oh,
like
but
that
it's not
episode.
racist. Like you're a spicy Italian or a spicy like Mexican girl, and that's okay. So therefore, it's not racist. But it's
Yeah,
like
because Mexican
you're
girls
all
are spicy.
stereotypes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just all stereotypes all the time.
Oof. Big oof on.
Yeah.
So yeah,
don't
Big
like
Bang Theory, 3 thumbs down, guys. Do not recommend.
Be prepared for the review of the final season, episode by episode.
Yeah. And we talked about it way too much already. Luckily, we have some beautiful media coming to wash the foul taste of Big Bang Theory out of our minds here in the following weeks. But anyways, thank you for joining us again on this episode. And
you,
good luck to all of
everybody.
you going to see this this movie in cinemas. Maybe get your popcorn without salt and use your tears to salt your popcorn, because I don't think the deaths are over.
All right, and check that off your list of things to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
good.
I only have a piece of paper that's blank. I'm not like
Oh, wow.
Lucas, man. I'm not like Lucas.
What? No.
Now I'm getting written down now in this little black book. So shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All right, well, bye, everyone.
see y'all next time.
Goodbye.